Hey guys, this is Post Martin again. In the last video about musicians' electrical hazards, I explained you about what the hazards for musicians can be at home, in the studio or on stage, and I explained you about the importance of an RCD device and of course circuit breaker and how to wire it properly. So if you haven't watched this, please go and watch the first part. It's really important. But even if you have followed my advice on how to use an RCD in front of the circuit breaker and to be safe, there can still be an issue. And that's what I want to show you in this second part, in this follow-up part. All right, so we have this guitarist, and maybe this guitarist isn't even connected to the amp when he switches on the amp. He doesn't wear his guitar, he just wants to get ready, so he switches on the guitar amp. All right, so there's the guitar amp, it's on. Now a current flows from this, in this case it's a brown wire, it goes into the amp, and the amp consumes some energy, and then the current flows back through the blue wire, and they have the same amount of current, ampere, measured in ampere, so the device doesn't detect any kind of problem. It will not break. Why should it? Everything is fine. Now let's just assume something is wrong inside the amp, and there's a connection from this brown wire to the metal chassis of this amp. What happens now, if this is the case, then the current will flow from the brown wire through this yellow wire to ground earth. So if this one here measures a difference between brown and blue wire, and it will, because there will be, for example, 2 amps going into the amp, 2 ampere, and on the blue wire maybe nothing coming back because everything goes to the yellow-green wire. Then it will detect the difference and bam, switch off immediately. So even without you touching anything, you're already safe because there was a fault, an electrical fault inside, and this device already noticed that there is an issue and switched off. And of course now the amp is also without power because there's the switch which was triggered. Now what happens if you don't have this yellow green wire, which is called protective earth? This must be connected to ground earth. Somewhere in your house there must be a big, like a huge steel nail in ground earth, and every wall plug that you have should be connected to ground earth, to earth around your house. If that's not the case, for example, it's called Bootleg Ground, which is commonly used, or which was commonly used, which looks pretty much like that. So, for example, let's just assume that there's a wall plug somewhere here, and inside the wall plug, this one here, the protective earth, is available, but it's wired to the blue. This makes kind of a fake grounding, even if it's behind the circuit breaker somewhere. So in your wall plug, you think, okay, everything is okay. There's 3 wires coming to my wall plug, and they are all connected to the proper pins, and I think everything is okay. Maybe at the switchboard in your house, somewhere at some point, this yellow wire is connected to the blue one. So they are basically the same. And that's a big danger, because now if this one is switched on, sorry, it's a little bit shaky, that stuff here. So what happens now is there is a current flowing into the amp. We switch it on for a second, and there is a fault inside this amp because the chassis is connected to the brown wire. So what will happen is there will be a huge current flowing here. It will be connected to the blue wire, and the same current that goes into the amp will flow back through the blue wire, and there is no difference. So this circuit breaker cannot switch off because it will not detect any difference. Yeah, the circuit breaker in this instance doesn't matter, it doesn't care if the same current that goes through the brown wire, the hot wire, and comes back through the blue wire, or if it comes back through the yellow wire. There's no distinction. So that's a very dangerous situation. And this is called bootleg grounding, and it was really common practice for many, many years. And I'm not sure what your electrical installation at home looks like, or what it looks like in a studio, or what it looks like on stage. So very, very important. If you want to be with maximum safety, you really need to make sure that, I think this is a little bit short now. I guess let's just keep it short. So this yellow-green wire, which is called protective earth, is not connected to these main wires at any point. It must be connected to actual ground earth in or around your house. There should be something where you can connect that. All right, so bootleg grounding, really dangerous, was common practice for many, many years. Be careful. Again, my advice, go to a specialist, go to someone who really knows about electric stuff and installation, not these kind of weird guys who just use two wires to connect a drill or any other device to your wall plug. That's not the right person. You really need someone who understands what he's doing, and then he can help you to figure out how to properly wire at your home. And yeah, I just hope that there will be someone who really knows his job in if you play at a venue live on a stage. And that will be the topic for yet another video at some point. Okay, stay safe, guys. Hope nothing happens to you, but it's always good to learn a little bit. Okay, cheers!